Welcome to Amateur Radio Roundtable. Today is Tuesday, March the 17th, 2015. This webcast is every Tuesday at 8 o'clock p.m. Central, 0100 UTC, Wednesdays, on W5KUB.com. We'd like you to please help us get the word out by telling your friends about the webcast, posting it on Facebook, email distribution, and so forth. Tonight we've got a great lineup, and each one of you can join the live webcast at the second part of the show if you have a camera and a Google Plus account, and we'll put you on the show. And we'll provide a link to you later on in the show that you can click on, and you can actually bring your video and be on the show with us. So the lineup tonight includes, from Dayton, Ohio and Hamvention, we have Michael Kalter, W8CI, the official spokesperson for Hamvention. And with him is Jim Tiedemann, N8IDS. He's the new general manager of Hamvention. After that, we're going to have Bharathi VU2RBI from India, talking about a wide range of ham radio topics from India. And then we're going to have a segment by Gary AJ4GL. Gary is going to share with us some Arduino projects for ham radio. There you go. All right, well, first, before we get you into, let me introduce you Michael. Michael is the spokesperson for Hamvention. He's currently the CFO and board member of DARA, and he's also the finance chairman for Hamvention this year. Michael is a former Peace Corps volunteer. He was in Tunisia in 1974 and 1975. He's also past chairman of the Dayton Regional Manufacturing Association. He was a keynote speaker at the Ham Radio 2012 in Germany. That's Friedrichshafen, I can't say that. And then he visited Qatar in 2012 and 2013 and participated in their special event station A71QND. He was also a keynote speaker at a special presentation about ham radio at Qatar University. And he also attended meetings there at the National Institute of Amateur Radio in India. And with Michael is Jim Tiedemann, N8IDS, General Chairman this year of Hamvention.
Well, Tom, we want to thank you. First off, we want to thank you for inviting us to be on the program. And both Jim and I, speaking for all of our club and all of Hamvention, that the job that you do and the service that you perform and communication about amateur radio and things that are going on around amateur radio, we are grateful for. So I want to get that out of the way. I know you and I have known each other for a while, and have watched you evolve into top-notch broadcaster master. So with that, we want to thank you, but let's talk a little bit about Hamvention for 2015. And I know Jim here, our new general chairman, has got some really interesting things to share with you. So, Jim, what do we got?
Okay, the first thing I'd like to bring up this evening, and good evening to all, is the theme this year is going to homebrew radio. What we're talking about here is melding both the do and the old. We're getting into a lot of arduino and things of that sort, getting into integrating many of the things that are what young people work on and what old people have brought into the market itself. So what we're trying to do is highlight this, and we're going to also go into highlighting mesh networks this year. So trying to get the attendance back up to what's going on to be a little bit better year each year as we go along. We're trying to get into the flow of what's going on in the Hamdom itself, trying to keep the topics new and fresh, but still support what's going on out there in the radio world that everybody expects to see at Dayton. We've also quelled a lot of the rumors that they've had of the troubles that Hera has been in communication with us almost constantly. The Waffler family is working very, very hard to keep things squared away. They are coming up to get the place improved as best they can. It's just one of those things, if you haven't been to Dayton and you haven't experienced it, it's going to be in the condition you get there right now. It's the best we can probably offer. And going forward, they want to have it improved as best they can. So what we're going to say is this. It's going to be there. We're going to do our best to make it as comfortable and as much fun as it possibly can for everybody coming up. Support we get from persons like yourself coming up and doing the telecast all the time you're there, and while on site, helps a whole lot. Myself, I'm coming into just a 2-year apprenticeship, coming into my first general chair, and I've got one whale of a good team, starting with Michael himself to really encourage me to get onto the program tonight with you. It's something I don't do very often. I'm probably talking a little bit too fast, and that's probably what somebody says, well, he's a new guy on the air. Well, sort of. My experience with the ham radio itself started out in the 80s. I didn't get into a whole lot of stuff but just sideband work. I'm trying to get into just more of the more modern parts of the hobby itself, but now I'm getting into the administrative side, which I do enjoy. So getting to know people, I think it's a people business. It's pretty much what we're doing right here. So what we're doing here this evening is just multiplying what we can do and reach out to do this. Back over to you, Mike.
Well, let's, Tom, did you have any, we can go on and talk about it, but
sure.
I'm sure you've been thinking about some things as the host here. What's in your mind?
Well, first of all, I think it's a great theme this year. I've been a ham for 51 years now. 1964 I was licensed. And I'm a builder. I'm a home brewer. Back then we used to build all of our stuff. I really liked it. And we're trying to start a homebrew segment on this webcast. I just need to find some people that would like to present some of the projects that they're wanting to build and show and, get other people interested. So if you guys have ideas on that, maybe we can come together and we can have a segment on home brewing on here. Another thing is I've been coming to Hamvention I haven't missed a year now in 34 years. I'm not an old timer with Hamvention, but of course 34 years is a pretty good record. And I've seen a lot of changes there over the years. I think at times Dara probably contracted out maybe the Hamvention for people to do it, and then they took it back over, and it's changed hands back and forth as far as how you administer and you run Hamvention. And I think it's gotten much better, and we'll talk about that in a few minutes. But I've got some pictures on here. Let's just show the people that are watching that have never been up there the size of this place and what we're doing. So let me see if I can get a picture on here, and I'll let you talk about it, Michael. So let's see. Here we go. So, Michael, here's the first picture there. I mean, that is some picture, isn't it?
Yeah, that's an aerial view, and I bet you could point out where you were at in the flea market.
Well, we can. In fact, if you look really, really close, that blue tarp right there is us. I think this picture was made either 3 years ago or 4 years ago, but that's us right there. If my pen is.
Yeah, and that whole area back there is all flea market area, rows and rows of flea market. It really, to walk down all the way down one of those rows, that's a long walk, let alone when you stop and you take a look at the different vendors. So the whole outside is just, really marvelous. So I think we have a couple of some statistics here.
Yeah.
Bring that up to you.
Yeah, and let me tell you, I mean, that place right there, when it is full out there in the flea market, it will actually take you several days to walk through and see everything there. It's just amazing, the outside. And that's what I used to like the most, the outside, because I was a home brewer. Now, with the help of you guys, we moved inside 2 years ago, and we've got a little bit different group of people that see us now. Here's a picture inside the arena. Talk about that.
Okay, the arena itself, right where you're looking at there, is the main arena, and you're looking from. I'm trying to get my bearings here. I think we're looking at it from the south end, which would be door 17, back from the flea market, looking from the north to the south. Prize booth would be upper left, but one of the crowded groups, the crowded rooms is right there, which you say you've been a big crush. You probably have a Friday or a Saturday picture there. And just recently, Tom, we've gone through some numbers to see what kind of under roof and acreage we have to offer out there. So you're looking at one part of Harrah's total 140,246 square feet under roof is what it takes to put this show on. And the outside area totals up to 11.36 acres in the area where you have the flea market itself, and all the paved area out around the Hera complex itself is 18.05 acres. So get some idea of what you had. Now there's a good interior map. Your inside exhibit map is what you're looking at there, and you're starting at the far left in the arena. And
that was the last picture that you had.
Right, that is far left, right there. And not much has changed as far as what the building is concerned, but how we use the building, how it goes in there. Inside exhibit has 500 plus booths, with individual booths to sell per year. We're looking at a lot of different things, and if you have been there recently, you know you'll have over in the East Hall, which is up on your far right. We've just gotten word that Luso has their tower shipped, ready to come out, so it will be one of the exhibitors. And in that same area, we're going to be putting the mesh network and homebrew area to where we can capitalize on the theme itself and see if we can't get some people to where they'll not only build, but be able to try out their equipment while they're in there.
That's great.
Yep. I want you to go ahead. You got another question, Tom? And
well, I just shifted it to the outside parking spaces. Again, you can see the building here in the center, but all the outside parking places, you can start to see the huge size of this thing.
There's 2,500 plus or minus, depending on how it's set up per year, spaces out there, Tom.
Let's talk a little about attendance, because, you know, back when I was going many, many years ago, 35,000 people there. I know it's dropped some over the years, but you guys have been working real hard, I think, to change that and get the attendance back up. And you can see the graph here, and I only have it back to 2013. You can see you guys are on a very positive trend here to bring the attendance back up. I wonder what caused that dip there. Was it the internet? Was it cell phones? Was it stuff from China? The economy?
You know, we never really, I mean, there was a lot of different things, I think, that occurred then. You know, wasn't that down at the low end of the sunspot cycle? And then I've watched and seen, you know, as the cycle grows, sometimes we get more people involved. But there's been a lot of good press on amateur radio since that time. When did you start getting on the air? I mean, in terms of your broadcast and things.
Well, we've been doing our broadcast for about 13 years now. Of course, we've only started going a weekly live cast the last couple months. But you know, we started out 13 years ago, and man, technology has changed so much since then. Back then, I mean, the pictures were terrible, the sound was terrible, the connections were bad, and now you can almost you can do HD now.
Well, I think that the important thing is that the way we look at it is that technology in amateur radio is rapidly changing and getting more excited. And I think that the reason I asked how long you've been in it is that there's other outlets as well. They're actually doing a good job marketing amateur radio, not necessarily Hamvention, but amateur radio. And that's exciting for us, and we see ourselves as a pillar to be able to help out amateur radio throughout the world. We're fortunate to be one of the oldest ham events in the world, and we try to give back. We try to support all the organizations, and we recognize that importance. But as for exactly what happened,
yeah, who knows? All right, let's see. Let me see if I can get back to. I'm flipping screens here, so I don't know. I think that's where we were right here. Here's a picture of you, Michael.
Right, that's with Bharathi from India, and excellent operator, and she's won some awards. I know you're going to have her on soon, and our club gave her a very prestigious award. And I've had the opportunity to be in India and meet with the organizations that she's with over there. But she'll have some really interesting stories for you about amateur radio in India. It's not as easy there as it is here, for sure. But yeah, that looks like you and I out there on with Bharathi on the radio show. I mean, on your podcast.
Yeah, it was. And like you said, she's going to be on there tonight, and we're going to talk about many, many things that she's been involved in. Here's another picture of you. We signed you up as one of our news people here, and I think you're interviewing Charlie Emerson here from Huntsville.
Yeah, I like Charlie. I saw him down at Hamvention, and I got to meet Peter Myers, who runs Hamvention, and I've met the folks in Friedrichshafen that run that. And actually, the way that we see it at Hamvention, and I know these other guys see it the same way, we're really not in competition. We do this for the love of amateur radio, and it isn't a matter of being the biggest, the best, or whatever, because each one of these events are spectacular events, and they're very difficult to pull off. So we have, in our club, the greatest respect for these other organizations and the other ham events that go on.
Well, and you know the work that it takes to put one on, and I tell you, the Huntsville Ham Fest is a very, very nice ham fest, and I'm sure it takes a lot of work to put it on too.
Absolutely. He's a good guy. I really like him. I hope to get him on the show again.
Yeah. Well, let's talk a little about DARA and how that, what you've been able to do there, and how that, of course, is part of Hamvention.
Well, for a long time, we had, unbeknownst to many people, we almost lost Hamvention around 2005. And we had a show manager on there. It caused us a lot of issues. I was president of the club at that time and took over, and we had to move him out, and we went through a lawsuit. But to make a long story short, we took it over again. And people want to knock Hera Arena and that, but I'll tell you what, we didn't have money to pay for it that particular year. Wow. And we worked with not only them, but other suppliers to help us, the bus services, and we put out a very successful Hamvention on credit, and most people don't know that. And if it wouldn't have been for Hera Arena stepping up and saying, okay, you guys have been good, we trust you to do another year. So we didn't forget that. A lot of people don't know that story.
Well, I can tell you, you must have had a very high credit line, because it costs big bucks to do what you guys do. Can you share maybe what this thing might cost you guys to put it on?
Yeah, it's probably to do the show is probably close to $500,000.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
I don't want to be real exact on it, but it's very expensive. I mean, when you look at all the things that we have to pay for, we have all the just simple things like outhouse, all the porta johns, and then the services of Hera Arena that we have to work with. It's the bus service, the security service, renting golf carts, all the IT services, and it is so much more than meets the eye. And I'll tell you, year after year when we run this, it never stops. The planning goes on. The planning starts immediately after the last Hamvention. Immediately. We do a critique. I found out the other, Huntsville, I think, does that, and I know that they do that down in Orlando at Hamvention, and as well as Friedrichshafen. But I know our general chairman here, he was telling me today, he goes, my God, I've had about 20 phone calls today about Hamvention. But there's so many small decisions that have to be made to make it run smooth and flawless, and it's important for us to put on a good show for our customers.
Well, and I can tell you, I would imagine out of 20,000, 30,000 hams that are wanting to come up there, you're also getting a lot of calls from those guys, too.
Yes, we are. And it comes down to another way of meeting the people before they get there and get a kind of a feel for what they really want to have. It's trying to guess what's going to make a good show for them. And it's almost better to listen to complaints. Not all of them are complaints, Tom. I don't want to make it that everybody's complaining. Most of the stuff I'm feeling right now are very legitimate questions on what can we do to get there, what do I need to get there, do I have the same thing from last year, And I'll tell you, I have a very, very good bunch of people I'm working with. There are 27 committees, and there are 53 very dedicated folks that are on Hamvention committee. So you'll see these people in these yellow shirts, which, by the way, my wife picked out the colors this year, so that's what we're going to go with. They're calling us the bumblebees, and I try to make sure that everybody is wearing that shirt and let you people know those are the committee people that make this work. But again, I might complain about it to Mike, but I'm not going to complain about it here, Tom.
Well, I tell you, hats off you guys. There's tons of things that people don't realize that happen to make this show. Let's go back to the pictures and see where we were. Of course, there's I guess that's the entrance to your club.
Yes, sir. That is the entrance off the road up here to B Road.
That's a nice entrance.
Well,
what do we got here?
Here's the building itself, and you are looking at the probably the latest rendition of it. And starting over at the right, that was the new addition that was added on to where you have the new boardroom, the new classrooms, the lobby, everything else connected to it that added on to the building that went to the left, the standard towers that are in there. And the far left is the shed where they used to, or they call it the shed, it's a big garage that they used to put the Hamvention there at the van in. Well, right now, the one that we have now is a little bit too large for that, so it's now used for storage. But it was a very large undertaking, again, planned out by people that are here, board members, members themselves, contractors, and what have you. And we hope that whoever comes out to Hamvention has enough time to come out and enjoy this with you. Now, I have to ask, Tom, have you been to the new building yet?
I have not been out there. How many members do you have?
That I don't know.
Just under 1,000.
Wow.
That's worldwide. Worldwide.
Well, guys, I would love to be a member of your club, but I just can't get up here to your meetings.
It's all right. You can still belong.
All right, good.
Order that. When you come out to Hamvention, go to the membership booth and
take care of it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's reasonable. I want to say something before we get into all the antennas, and it looks like we're a pretty fat and happy club. I mean, we do pretty well for Hamvention, but it's all volunteers. But we give a lot back to the amateur radio community. We make a lot of donations to amateur radio organizations throughout the United States, really throughout the world. And we, some years ago, we started a grant process. I think you can find that on our Dayton Amateur Radio website, to where you can make an application. If your club has been hit hard by a bad storm or some disaster, that we'll make we'll take a look at those grants, because we like to give back. It has to be amateur radio related. We also very robustly support scholarship programs at through ARRL and our own internal scholarship program for youth. And we put on the Teachers Institute. We host that, as well as donate a significant amount of funds to make that happen every summer. So if there's any teachers watching that, please consider that class. It's been a tremendous class, and we have A1 facilities here now in our clubhouse for training.
Well,
anyway,
you guys are doing it first class, I can tell you.
Well, it's important we give back.
We're
fortunate in the position that we are in, as Hamvention. We're fortunate, but we want to give back to it. We consider ourselves a pillar in the amateur radio community, like you, like other organizations. We're all pillars to make this thing happen. All right, go ahead. You want to talk about
there, we got an antenna there. That's a nice looking antenna.
Force 12. That's on one of the towers that sits back to the west side of the building here, and above it's the 432. It's on about an 80 to 85 foot tower. That's one of the towers they use for the, of course, HF and then the UHF, VHF when they have it going. These are the operating positions that are in the radio room itself, and I think you probably should have had Robert Lunsford in here to describe what's on here, but right now they're in the process. There's another long shot of the operating positions there. These positions are now being worked on. In fact, we're going into something, Tom, of a building program that the HF is going to be put into a room by itself, and the room that you're looking at here now will be turned into UHF, VHF.
Right, that room is, you're actually only seeing half the console size.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks really good.
You can tell about, Mike can tell you about this, because how do you know how to operate that?
There's a nice, is this one of the stations? I guess you got an Alpha 9500.
Right, yeah, and we actually, it's kind of interesting, we have a lock on that thing, and you have to be checked off as an operator, and, you know, of course, have the right class of license.
Yeah,
Checked off to use that feed. And I don't know which radio that one is.
757.
That's the 757? Okay.
Yeah, that's one they use a whole lot. That's one I think I see being used mostly. And the upper right is the, I'm trying to see which that is. Because again,
that's a stepper. That's a step IR.
Control. Thank
controller,
you.
Yeah.
Yep, stepper controller. And to the left of that is the green heron rotor control for it. And that was just put up not more than a few months ago. The whole section was put up. And he decided to put a ring rotor up there with a 2-meter antenna as well along with it, which is working off the ring rotor. But that unit itself was put up not that long ago. Now this is, I'm thinking, this is pictures of the whole site from the stepper. That's when they were installing it.
Mm-hmm.
That unit now there, and they also added the 80-meter. 75, 80-meter wire to it, so they modify it to where that thing can just about go anywhere it needs to. And the one that you see in the foreground is the Force 12 going back over toward the clubhouse location.
Yeah.
W8VI, Whiskey 8 Bravo India, that's our club call. It's very active and almost every contact.
Now, is this your recent van here?
That's the old.
Is that the old one?
Yeah, that's what they call the old Smurfmobile. That one there has been replaced, and what I happen to be a part of the driving crew of the new van, which is a unit that was a Mack tool truck. 32-foot Mack tool truck was converted to Arch Services. So we probably ought to get you some new pictures and information on that, and that'll be at Hamvention.
All right. Well, that's
that one will be at Hamvention, but we'll try to get you the picture if we can get on, if you invite us back again.
Yeah, and you know what? We'll let's do this again next month in April before Hamvention, and we can talk about any new things that you guys are going to have. We'll have more time to talk a lot about Hamvention.
Well, I think that a couple things that would be good to talk about at that time would be talk about forums and get to some of the more specific things that we're going to have new this year at Hamvention. But I do want to emphasize that it's important, if you're thinking about coming to Hamvention, to make sure you get your reservations in. Go to our website, which is www.hamvention.org, and it has lots of information. I think it's laid out very, very well. Should be very maneuverable. And it even has the hotel listings. It answers most every question that you might have.
Okay, this is sounding good. I tell you, we're about 2 months away from Hamvention. I'm looking really forward to coming up there. You know, we start our webcast when we pull out of the driveway here, so we'll be broadcasting all the way up there, the 10-hour drive. And we have been known to get pulled over by the police, and the people in the chat room take up a collection to bail us out. So if you guys have time, watch us Wednesday. I know you're going to be real busy on Wednesday, though, right before.
Yeah, but we'll try to do that. We certainly appreciate what you do, Tom. I mean, for all of amateur radio, all the different things. I watched you, I think you had the Arduino project on there, and I watched that night. That was really fascinating. So.
Oh, that's cool. And we're going to have, in fact, we're going to have a guest tonight talking about a Arduino project, a CW keyer that he built. So that'll be a nice segment tonight. And then Glenn Popel probably will be back on next week. He's the author of the ARL published book, Arduino for Ham Radio. We'll probably have him back on and devote a lot more time to Arduino next week.
So if you get any questions about, from this podcast.
Yeah, there's a question right now I see in the chat room. When will they post the forum schedules? People are asking that.
As soon as they've got them compiled, our forums chair has got them formed up, As soon as he has that all compiled together, his assistant will have that online as soon as he can get that onto it. I don't have a definite date for you, but I can tell you now the schedule has been solidified. It's 100% according to Dave. So as soon as they get all of that compiled and put up online, it'll be up there, and Richard will have it on there as soon as he possibly can. The date I can't give you. By the time we get into our next podcast with you, I probably can have that information for you, Tom.
Okay, well, that's good. Just a lot of comments. They commented on your nice amplifiers and your station and all that. I think most people know your story. It's just that we were able to go in a little bit more detail tonight and show a few things. Guys, thank you very much for joining us tonight. We'll do it again in April.
Our pleasure. Thank you, Tom.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. And just after we disconnect, just tune in to W5KUB and you can watch the rest of the show. Next we have Bharathi VU2RBI from India. Her ham radio career spans about 30 years or more. Let's see, yeah, about 30 years or more. She has really been busy establishing ham radio stations. She's been working with the government departments. She's been on a number of de-expeditions. She's trained new hams. She's worked disasters and much, much more. She's a founding member, I believe, of India's National Institute of Amateur Radio. And she's been instrumental in promoting amateur radio club stations across the world, including ham radio to the military and also to the Boy Scouts. She has received too many awards to mention here, but a few of them are Worldwide DXer in 1987, Ambassador on the Air in DXCC from the ARRL, Special Achievement from Hamvention, Gold Award from the National Institute of Amateur Radio for the Tsunami Relief Activities, 2005 International Humanitarian Award by the ARRL. She's in the ARRL Hall of Fame. She's met many different government dignitaries, and we're going to talk about some of that. In fact, she's even met the Queen of England in her ham radio activity here, the Queen of England. So, how you doing, Bharathi? Say hello to everybody. Okay, well, very good. I think the confusion was you were listening to the audio on the webcast, and it has a delay to it. So, hey, man, I read a lot of awards that you've won and things you've done over the years, but I didn't talk about all of them. How did you get started in ham radio? What made you get into ham radio?
Bharathi VU2 Mike Yankee is my sister's husband, and he was figuring out ham radio when he was at home. And I was very curious about what he's doing with the radio sets. And then I told him, what are you doing? He said he's working on ham radio. And then I was inquiring about ham and everything. After my graduation, then I started to become a teacher. But I changed my mind. And then I thought I want to become a ham radio operator. I want to promote ham radio in India. I've changed my entire thing, and then I started my amateur radio in 1980 after my graduation, and then I've done another degree course like B.Ed, Bachelor of Education. Then I can become a teacher, but I didn't become a teacher. Then I started working on ham radio, and I got my license in 1980.
Okay. Bharathi, get back just a little from the camera. Just back up just a little bit so we can see you better. There you go. There, perfect, perfect. Okay. So you got your license in about 1980. That's cool. So it's been over 30 years now, and you've been involved in everything from working disasters to the expeditions. I've got some pictures here. I'm going to put some pictures up, and you can talk a little about them, okay? Now, I don't know what order they're in, so we'll just try to talk about them. Okay, so stand by and let me get the pictures up. All right, well, this picture, this is where I met you a few years ago at Dayton. Do you remember this?
Yes, yes. I met you in Dayton in 2005.
Yeah, that was
in 2005.
That was a nice interview we had when we met you there. That's when we were outside in the flea market. And how many times have you been to Hamvention?
I think this is I had been to 4 times.
Okay.
And this is the first time I met you in 2005.
Uh-huh.
I've come here for my work, which I have done it in during the tsunami time.
Uh-huh.
And I was there during tsunami time in Andaman Island.
So,
actually, I've gone for an expedition to Andaman Islands with a great difficulty. I got 1 month permission to operate from Andaman in VU4 in 2004, in December.
all right, now I don't know what this picture is. Does it have anything?
This is also from Andaman Islands.
Okay.
I'm introducing ham radio to the defense people.
Okay, so this is the military, the defense people,
Yeah,
and you're showing them ham radio.
All are from Navy personalities.
Uh-huh.
And I have introduced this ham radio to the Navy people, how we can do amateur radio.
Uh-huh.
And I'm giving that time I gave a demonstration to the Navy people, ham radio demonstration.
Okay.
And this is one part, introducing ham radio to the people in Andaman Islands. And also the second thing is doing expedition on amateur radio from VU4. And I got the permission to go to VU4 at that time, 2004, after 17 years. After 17 years, I think I have just opened ham radio in Andaman Islands.
Okay. Now, I know I'm jumping around because these pictures aren't any real specific order.
This is the picture. The CNN International from USA, from Atlanta, visited my house.
You're on CNN here, and this is about the tsunami, right, that you gave a relief to?
This is the picture, and this is the film actually. This is the film on amateur radio by CNN International, and they took a film on me.
Uh-huh.
So the CNN people took a film on 20 minutes film on me at my house, and this is one of the picture in CNN film.
Okay. Let's see what we got next.
This is all because my expedition and my tsunami relief activities. I never expected that I do get a lot of awards and certificates. I want to tell the people who are listening to me, and ham radio, you are doing the service to the nation. And you are also doing ham radio as a hobby, as well as you are doing the service to the nation. But you don't expect any certificates and awards, anything. But once you do it, and the people are honoring me, like now you are showing the picture. That is the picture. I got an award from ARRL. I got an award as a humanitarian award.
Right. That's a very prestigious award.
Yes. W0GJ was there. He was giving this award to me on behalf of ARRL. And this happened at ARRL, at Andaman Islands. And National Institute of Amateur Radio has organized a Ham Fest at Andaman Islands.
Now, here you are. It looks like you're with Boy Scouts. Tell us about your
I also introduced this hobby to Bharat Scouts and Guides, Scouts and Guides people. Earlier, in 1990, it was only one station at Scouts and Guides. But when I was honorary wireless advisor in Scouts and Guides organization, now I have introduced another 4 stations in Scouts and Guides. And now the Scouts and Guides are using ham radio for their relief activities.
Now,
and I am very proud that my own student, which I trained by me in the Scouts and Guides, and recent relief activities, flood relief activities in Uttarakhand in North India, and the Scouts and Guides have helped for their, they have helped for disaster communications.
Now, this picture here looks very prestigious. Is this got something to do with the president?
Ham radio. Yeah, President of India, Dr. Pratibha Patil, and I'm receiving an award at Rashtrapati Bhavan, means it is a President Hall at New Delhi. And this is the recognition of my amateur radio activities in Scouts and Guides and also in India.
Well, that's just that's a.
This is an award. The first time I've received this award in 2010.
That's a great picture.
I'm so proud to be a radio ham. I've done all these activities. I've done amateur radio activities, promotion of amateur radio activities. I've done a lot of demonstrations, and I've done relief activities, and I've done the expedition. And I'm also very grateful to my organization, National Institute of Amateur Radio, and who has helped me for doing all these activities. Oh, this one is Queen Elizabeth, and I'm also I'm also very much happy to say that I'm proud that to be a radio ham, that I'm honored at Buckingham Palace at Queen Elizabeth's place.
So how did you get to meet the Queen? What did you do that let you
Oh yeah, one day what happened, after the tsunami relief activities, one day I've received a mail from Royal Commonwealth Society. Royal Commonwealth Society, and she was the chairman of the organization, and she gave me a free ticket and free accommodation in the UK, and all of a sudden they sent an email to me, Bharathi, we are inviting you to give a speech in Westminster Abbey, so you have to come and give a speech in Westminster Abbey. So I am so proud. Then immediately I rushed to London, and I was there in Westminster Abbey, and I gave a speech, and she was honored me there, and I got a chance to meet Queen Elizabeth and their entire family members at our house, and I'm so proud
that's
to
great.
be ham.
Oh, that is super. Let's see what else we've got there. What is this picture?
Oh, this picture is, I got an award from the Dayton Convention, Mr. Suri and Mr. Azir Vaidya from Ministry of Information Technology, Government of India, who has also accompanied with me to see how I'm getting an award from the Dayton Convention. And there are other two people who also got the award from the Dayton Convention. My husband is also there, VU2 Delta Bravo Papa, and the front photograph is VU2 DBP, my husband, and the back side, my brother-in-law, VU2 Mike Yankee, who has initiated me to go into this ham radio. And the last one, the red color, Thai fellow is Mr. Ajir Vaidya. He is Joint Secretary, Ministry of Information Technology at that time in 2005. I have received an award, Best Achievement Award from the Dayton Convention. I am very thankful to the Dayton Convention people to honor me at that time, and really great to know.
Oh, that's super. That's really nice. Let's see.
But I never expected all these things. I just I came and as a ham, I have worked for the social service in Andaman Islands during the tsunami time. This was my expedition, QSL card, VU4. So, you know how difficult I got this permission to go to Andaman Islands in 2004. With a great difficulty, and I have contacted a lot of higher officials in the government, and K4VUD, Charles, he was always pressurizing me to get the permission to go to Andaman Islands. So that's the reason why I have got the permission for VU4 at that time. So when I was there in Andaman Islands, I didn't know that I am going to get a tsunami at that time. All of a sudden, there was a tsunami, and we have shifted to this de-expedition to tsunami relief activities. So it was I am very happy that I have done small social service to the nation. I was the first person, to announce tremors on the ham radio. And I have helped a lot of people, not only me, entire team. And I'm also thankful to the National Institute of Amateur Radio and also Mr. Suri and to send me to the to Andaman Islands to do all this work.
Okay. Well, hey.
Recently also I have done some activities like training programs for the paramilitary forces and also engineering students. So they're all are qualified amateur radio examination.
So I was looking
I'm also promoting this hobby in India along with the National Institute of Amateur Radio.
Yeah, I was looking at a lot of the write-up here. You gave relief work on ham radio. There was a super cyclone, Orissa, in 1999.
Yeah.
There was an earthquake in 2001. There was another earthquake in 88. The tsunami in 2004. You've really been involved in a lot of disaster-type radio operations.
It is a teamwork. It is always a teamwork, and everybody is working, not only from the National Institute of Amateur Radio, and the Indian hands are also working as the relay stations whenever we go out. So National Institute of Amateur Radio has got a RACES organization, Radio Emergency, Civil Emergency Services, and we have special suitcases with the HF, VHF antennas. Whenever any emergency occurs, and there's an institute will send the volunteers with ham radio equipment to the different places wherever the emergency is there, and people are going and working over there. And
speaking of emergencies in your de-expeditions, in 2004, you were on a de-expedition in Daemons?
Yes.
And I think during that time, there was a tsunami, so you canceled the expedition and started working on the tsunami. Is that right?
Yes. That was 2004 December 26th tsunami happened. So actually we went to expedition in 1st December. And then we stopped the de-expedition and we switched over to tsunami relief activities, and we have helped the local defense people and local administration, and we were there almost 1 month in the Andaman Islands.
Wow. Well, you've had an amazing story of your ham radio years.
I left my family also at that time. So my family was there in Delhi and I was there in Andaman Islands along with the team.
And
not only me, now VU2 Mike Yankee Hotel and VU3RSB, and those people are also there. They also got humanitarian award, and they're also very, very, very helpful to me to doing all this work. So I always thankful to all my team members who have helped me for this program, especially during the disasters, especially tsunami.
Yeah. Now you're in the United States now for several months, and you will be here until Dayton. We'll see you at Dayton.
Yeah. I'm trying to come to Dayton. This time I'm introducing this hobby to University of Illinois, Chicago. I am right now in the University of Illinois, and a lot of children are here. My daughter is studying a master's here in electronics and electronics and communications.
Yeah.
So what I thought, I want to introduce this hobby to the students here in university. So this time I want to bring more and more students to Dayton.
Well, now when you bring them, you be sure and come by our booth. And we want to put you and all the students on, and we want to talk about this, okay?
Yeah, they have no idea, so I wanted to show entire ham radio, and I will show it to them.
All right, well, I would like to thank you very much for taking time to be on the show tonight. You're a very interesting person, and we'll talk again later, and we'll cover a lot more things that we didn't have time to cover tonight.
Thank you, Tom. I'm also active on D-Star Communication. I'm trying to talk to all Americans in their local time. And I bought my D-Star, which I purchased in Dayton Convention. So I will see everyone on D-Star from Chicago.
Okay, and I'll try to talk to you on D-Star also. So thank you very much for being on the show with us tonight, and I will see you soon, okay?
Thank you, Tom. Thank you very much. Good evening to everyone who is hearing to me.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So we want you to do that. Also tonight, toward the end of the show, we are going to have our roundtable part. Now, for you new guys, what roundtable is, let me find it. What roundtable is, if you have a camera and you have a Google Plus account, I'm going to send this link out right here. You can click on this link, and you can join our show tonight. We can have up to 10 people on the video at one time, and you'll actually be on the webcast, and you can wave to your family and all those things. But just check in on Hangout, say hello, listen a while. Don't feel obligated to present anything, but just check in. We'd love to see you check in to the roundtable portion. That's going to be right after this next segment we have. The next segment is going to be with Gary AJ4GL. I hope I pronounced that right. Now, I looked that up on the internet to see the pronunciation, and there was a lot of different pronunciations. So I'll let Gary tell us if I got it right in just a minute. But Gary AJ4GL is from Roanoke, Virginia. And tonight, Gary is going to show us an Arduino project that he built to make ham radio CW operation even easier. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Well, I love to have guests on, and I really would love to have guests that are building things like I mentioned in an earlier segment. I'm a home brewer from many years ago, and that doesn't mean liquor or hard stuff. That means radio equipment. And, of course, things are changing so much over the years. Back when I was a big home brewer, everything was tubes. And now, it's solid state, integrated circuits, surface mount. But it's getting a lot easier now, and stuff is getting so cheap, particularly the Arduino. And you have a nice little project here that I wanted to show the people that you put together on Arduino. And tell us a little about it first, and then I'm going to put the video on. So what made you decide to build this thing?
Well, it was actually just a couple of weeks ago. I had done a special event station, and I was calling CQ a lot, and thought, man, there's got to be a better way. I was doing a straight key special event for a transportation museum. And then just after that, there was a contest, the CW contest, and it's like, wow, there's got to be something even better. And to put a plug in, this weekend is the Virginia QSO party. So I was thinking I can probably build something out of an Arduino with not too much difficulty, and it really wasn't too bad at all. Just grabbed the Nano, and I had some parts around, and within starting at the beginning of the week, by the end of the week, I had something working. And hooked it up and took some measurements, tried and went through a couple of iterations. Lo and behold, it had something that was pretty cool. Now, it's not done yet because every time you touch something with a project, you think of new ideas, a new way to do things, and improvements to it.
Yeah, well, I like it. Let's play a short video that you put together and show people what it is and see if they're interested in it. I think it's a nice little product. So here we go.
Hello, I am Gary AJ4GL. I'm here to talk about an automated CW keyer for straight key. Now, I am a straight key fan. I like doing straight key special events and getting on the air that way. I noticed that sometimes running straight key that you end up calling CQ a few times. So I hear a lot of people on the air with the automatic keyers, with the iambic paddles and things like that, with automated systems. But I still want to run a straight key, so I wanted to invent something that could send the messages but not interfere with the operation of the straight key. So here we go. I tried this solution with a Nano, Arduino Nano. That's it right in front of us. And I took some code and started writing for maybe a couple hours on 2 consecutive nights. and was able to come up with a program to send CQ and also to send a reply message using the Arduino Nano. What I had done was also by using the LED output, I could see how it worked. So all I needed to do was to use the Nano plugged in the computer till I had it programmed correctly. And then after that, the rest of this wasn't too hard. I was able to add a send button, a message select whether I'm going to send or reply, and then a speed adjustment. Now it's noted on here 0 to 20 words per minute. That's probably the range that I could operate in. And the original testing of it, after I had breadboarded it, I used a hard relay to make the connection to the key around it, and that had some speed limitations. So second go around, I used and changed the relay to a solid state relay, and the solid state relay is good for 400 volts, about 100 milliamps. So that was great to interface to any radio that I have on the key or input for the straight key. So the idea was to be able to do a CQ call, or if there's a special event, as a steady reply that I could just program it and use the straight key to send the custom messages. Some of the first specs for my key, the first off is just to be able to disconnect it and reconnect it very quickly. I could take it places with me. It could be powered from a battery or from a wall wart, and I can hook it up really quick. So I'm going to do that now using the solid state relay. It's very polarity sensitive, so I have them marked on the key as well as the hookup cables. We got that hooked up, and we'll power up. So if I want to send a CQ, all I have to do is press the send button. Now for speed adjustment, I can turn it up, and when I added the solid state relay to it, I really increased the speed that I could send. So I have the pot up there a lot higher than 20 words per minute. So then I adjusted the speed up, and just to demonstrate, I hit the reply, and we'll send that at Okay, so that's about all it's meant to do, and the important thing is just it saves me wear and tear on my wrist for running a straight key, and it's not done yet either. There's going to be further enhancements. I think I'm going to repackage it to put it into the base of the key so that it's actually part of the key, so I could take and drop a key somewhere and have the capabilities to run it auto or manual. And I'm also going to put a wireless interface on it so that I don't have to be tethered to it. I can take it across the room and run it if I like. So this is my latest Arduino project for this. I also have a voice keyer that I'm working on that's not quite as far along as this. Thank you. Yeah, and note that when it's hooked up, that key still works, and then I can send that as well. Okay, another cool feature is by using this solid state driver, I'm isolated optically from the circuits on the CW keyer, just like the key. And I have it also run into the Kenwood TS480, sitting right there, and it works equally well with the Kenwood 480. Turn that on, and we'll hit the go button. so I can take a break and not have to reply or send a CQ if we're doing repetitive things. But I can always have control over the key itself so that I can respond in kind as I wish. So it's a pretty cool project, and it's just always looking to add to it.
Okay. We had a little audio problem. Your audio and the video was low, and I didn't have any way to increase it here on the encoder, but I think people could hear it if they turned it up. So that's a pretty neat little project. Have you used it any yet, Gary?
Yeah, I've used it a couple times, but not seriously. I think this weekend I'll get a chance to really take advantage of it.
Well, that's real good. You got any other Arduino projects planned?
I have an endless supply of Arduino projects planned.
Yeah.
There's always something going on. I also run a robotics club in town, so we always are dreaming up projects to do. The next part of this one, I'm going to make it wireless, so that'll be real interesting. I've seen the guys strap the keys onto their legs, and I thought that would really be cool to just have a wireless connection to it. And also maybe put a buzzer in there so it could be a practice key. So you could do all sorts of stuff with it. And I'm going to go do a voice keyer next. I started working on that one some time ago. The chips and the demo boards that you can buy online are just incredible priced. Like a voice recorder chip you can get for $5. Put on a board with buttons and everything for $5 or $6. The controller prices keep coming down, and I enjoyed the last Arduino project for hams broadcast you did, because I didn't realize how many sensors and boards were available, and you can go up to a place like DigiKey and look, and there are just hundreds of them. So there's just whatever you can come up with. It's really awesome.
Well, there are so many Arduino projects out there. We're going to have Glenn Popel back over probably next week or the next and talk about some other Arduino projects. Maybe show some new ones. He's working on some new ones that are top secret on his board right now, but maybe we can get a peek at some of them. Well, I like your little keyer there. It was cool. I guess I'll have to build me one next. So I know it's late there. It's 10:15 there. I think you watched the show last week and said you barely made it to the end of the show. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great tonight. It's a little bit different whenever you're waiting, and it's a very interesting show tonight too as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, Gary, we really appreciate you showing your Arduino project. And I'll have to look into this. Again, the audio was a little low in the video. I don't know why, but the encoder we're using here doesn't give us any independent way to crank it volume up. I'll have to look into that, but I could hear it. It was a little bit low. I'm going to say 73 to you. Thanks a lot. I hope you enjoyed the webcast tonight, and hey, I hope you check in on the roundtable in a little while. You'll join the group.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, and great job.
I'm trying to build up the roundtable. The roundtable's where all you guys out there get to join the show, and it puts 10 of you on at one time. Now, if you can't get in because there's already 10, just keep trying, and at some point you'll be able to get in when someone leaves. So just keep trying. Let me send the link out again for people to click on, which will allow you to join us on video. You'll be part of the show. This is the experimental part of the show. You never know what happens. You get a bunch of new people on that never used Hangout before, and it's just a total mess. Everybody's talking at the same time, and it's just a mess. But then you get people on there, and after a few minutes, it quietens down, and you have one person talking at a time. And of course, when that person talks, their picture goes full screen. So it's kind of neat how we can bring 10 people into our webcast. So I'm going to get on there in a minute if there's a slot open and join everybody. We hope our roundtable part at the end of the show picks up. So Gary, thanks a lot, and we'll see you in a hangout in a little while.
Great, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, guys, that's all of our guests tonight. I did have one announcement. We made it last week. It was hot on the press last week during our show, but North Korea has allowed to have a one-man de-expedition that's coming up in January or February of 2016. So there'll be one person working a radio in North Korea in January. If you need that call, you can hopefully you can get them. They're going to have a military supervisor. They're going to have 2 military supervisors looking over the shoulder of the ham radio operator, I guess so he won't say the wrong thing. They're requesting to see if they can also have a CW station. The station will be sideband, but they're wanting to have a CW station. I doubt that will happen because the supervisors probably can't copy Morse code and they would not know what they're saying. So anyway, that's exciting news. A new country here, North Korea, coming up pretty soon. We're not going to have any pictures of vintage or old-time radios or old-time stories on the show tonight. I do need your picture. I'd love to have pictures of old vintage radios and old shacks and, you know, when you were 16 years old, and let's look at the olden days and talk about it. So very interested in those pictures. We're always interested in segments to have on our show. If you'd like to be on the show, send me an email. We're looking for all types of segments, DX, digital, a moon bounce, satellite, home brewing, any of those things, anything ham related, just get in touch with me and we'll get you on a show. Please join our Facebook webcast group. There's a link below the chat room. So now it's time for our roundtable, where each of you can join our webcast by putting your video on the webcast. Click on that link I just provided, and help us spread the word about the weekly webcast. You know, we're pretty well known for our major events that we webcast, but our new weekly program is very new. Not many people know about it yet, so help us spread that word. For Tuesday nights at 8 o'clock at W5KUB. So, I'm going to put you guys on hold, play a little music for a minute, and I'm going to try to get on Hangout, and maybe I'll meet some of you guys on Hangout, and then we'll come back. You will be able to see who's on Hangout with us, so don't go away. We'll be right back. Back, and Gary is the only person on Hangout tonight. I don't know where everybody else is, but anyway, Gary, hey, this is the informal part, man. I guess you were able to watch some of the show, right?
Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's just everybody has to figure out the audio systems here on Hangout. You're going to listen to me audio direct with no delay. The way this thing works, guys, Hangout is usually when I talk, my picture will be on like this, and then if Gary talks, his picture will come up full screen, and we can have up to 10 people on the Hangout at one time. So we're looking for people to join us on that link. So we'll give them a few minutes to join here. Let's see. Someone asking in the chat room, what happened to the announcement emails for Tuesday event? Best to remind for attendance. Did you hear that? Well, we kind of don't know if we need to be sending out emails or not. The problem we have is we don't want to send out too many emails and get people upset and everybody start canceling their email subscription to us. And it's a lot of work. Kathy has to send out a lot of emails, but she's usually pretty good about doing it and gets them out. So maybe next time we'll send an email out, maybe once a month, you know, something like that, to kind of remind people for a while.
You know, I don't know, because I don't ever do anything from a kit. Now, I do know that there's a nice book that Mr. Popeil put out that's not really a kit, but at least you have instructions and materials.
Yeah, well, you know, many of these Arduino projects, and the few that I've built, are almost no parts. I mean, I built a CW decoder. There's one out there, and they're published on the internet, and the software is available free. And this thing had 3 parts to it. Outside of the Arduino, you had the Arduino board, and you had, I think, 2 resistors and 1 capacitor, and you hook that to your speaker on your radio, and that thing would copy Morse code. I mean, there's not much to it, you know.
Yeah, and as I think Mr. Popeil said on his last time he was on your broadcast, he mentioned about going up to eBay. And I spend a lot of time up there ordering parts, and I don't order usually just one part. I'll order 3 or 4 because they're real inexpensive, and you never know if you're going to get a good one or a bad one sometimes.
That would be good to get people started.
Yeah, and you know what I think is always the hardest part is just getting a box to put the parts in that fits and is the right size for all the switches and, you know, connectors that you need.
Well, a lot of times my Arduino project is going to get put in boxes. I just got wires laying there. I just lay them on the desk and operate, you know. That's not the way to do it, though.
You see, that's the keyer was the same way. It's sitting on a board. And that's always what you do with the prototypes, because doing these things are not a finished product, so it's more or less building a prototype. And then after you do 2 or 3 prototypes, then you get the packaging right and get the features set up like a sellable product. But, you know, all these homebrew projects are always prototypes, right?
Yeah, yeah. Let's see, instant message. Let me send a message here to someone. Send that link out again.
Hang out.
Well, all right. We'll build some more projects, and we're going to have you back, and we'll show you your other projects. Send me 3, and thanks for being on the show tonight.
Thanks so much for having me. It was great. Really appreciate all the work you're doing.
All right. Thank you. Okay. Well, just a little disappointed tonight that we didn't have a lot of people that joined us in the roundtable. I think it's because it's new to people and they don't understand it that much, but maybe as the show grows. Guys, we really need your help. Help us spread the word. As I said earlier, my producer here told me to look at the camera and smile, so I have to look here and smile. That's producer Kathy. You know, we have a lot of viewers. For instance, things like the Dayton Hamvention, we'll have over 1,000 people at any given time in the chat room or the video. And our weekly program is just not growing quite as fast. I can see this program having 500 people each week if we just get the word out. So I'd like to ask that, you know, if you check into any D-Star nets or any HF nets, just mention the new ham radio program, 8 o'clock p.m. Tuesday nights, Central Time. And if we can get the word out to a lot of different nets, and we can pick up 2 or 3 people from each net, I think the word will start spreading. So I'm going to say good night to everyone, 73, and thank you for attending the show. And We're going to sign off now. Thank you. Good night.